So I've put most of my explanation for an introduction because this is the most important part of the question. And we're going to look now at the structure of the essay. So we're going to look at the introduction beyond the argument. So name 2 or 3 historians. You could say Katie Barclay has examined the history of music and rebellion. James Anderson has looked at the role of community in construction, the role of art in constructing imagined communities. Other historians have pointed at the necessity of looking at cultural and social themes in order to understand large-scale political change. And we need to define a term of the question, and you say, I take the term music to mean this. You can identify the key assumptions. For example, in history, there is a course to history. That is a central assumption to argue and consider about. You set out your argument saying this essay posits that. And you can also start to look at things like quotations. And I think the first slide we had, the first presentation we had, is going to be really helpful for you on this when we looked at philosophers like Confucius. And you should also consider how point 1, point 2, point 3, and point 4 shapes the leads on for an introduction. And point 1 should answer the question directly and say without challenging assumptions. So if you're going to say, yes, music has significantly changed the course of history, you need to point out one really good example which supports this entire question. And you can start with methodological assumptions. Let's share the screen again and see whether that works. You can start with methodology. You need to also consider methodological assumptions. So how do we find the sources to analyze music? How do we find the sources to analyze the role of music and its impact on culture? And how do we establish causality? So at what point does a song lead people to revolt? And what point does this revolt cause a revolution?